Close your eyes. Imagine standing at the edge of the jungle. Your muscles tense, your senses sharp, your entire being vibrating with raw power. This is who you really are. But somewhere along the way, you forgot. You started acting like prey instead of the predator you were born to be. You apologize when you should dominate. You hesitate when you should strike. You follow when you were meant to lead. That ends today. The lion doesn't wonder if it's hungry enough to hunt. It hunts because that's its nature. It doesn't question if it deserves to eat. It takes what's rightfully its. And right now, you're starving while others feast on the life that should be yours. No more excuses. No more someday. Either you wake up that primal instinct sleeping inside you, or you remain another nameless face in the herd. The jungle doesn't care about your fears. The hunt doesn't stop because you're not ready. And the throne, it's waiting, but it only bows to those who claim it. So what's it gonna be? Keep cowering in the shadows or finally step into the light and roar so loud the world has no choice but to recognize the king you've always been? The lion doesn't sleep when it's hungry. It moves with relentless purpose, its entire being focused on one thing, the hunt. While others rest, the lion stalks. While others hesitate, the lion strikes. This is the mentality you need to adopt if you want to stop dreaming and start living. The moment you feel that hunger for success, for freedom, for more, that's when you must move. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Now. The world is full of people who wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right sign. They sleepwalk through life, always planning but never doing, always preparing but never executing. Meanwhile, the lions of this world understand one fundamental truth. Hunger doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. Life doesn't wait. That gnawing feeling in your gut when you see someone living the life you want, that's your hunger. That restless energy keeping you up at night, that's your call to hunt. Most people will ignore these signs. They'll hit snooze on their ambitions. They'll convince themselves they have time. But you're different. You recognize this hunger for what it truly is. Your greatest advantage. The lion doesn't question its hunger. It doesn't debate whether it should hunt today. It doesn't consult the opinions of sheep. It simply acts. It moves with singular focus, uncompromising intensity, and unwavering commitment to its goal. This is the mindset that separates winners from the rest of the pack. When you're hungry, truly hungry, sleep becomes the enemy. Comfort becomes the trap. Excuses become unacceptable. You either feed your hunger or you starve your potential. There is no middle ground. The lion knows this instinctively. It doesn't need motivational speeches or pep talks. It doesn't wait for ideal circumstances. When the hunger hits, it hunts. Period. This is the raw, unfiltered truth about success. The hungry don't wait for invitations. They don't need permission. They don't require perfect timing. They see what they want and they take it. No apologies, no hesitation, no second guessing. The hunt is everything. The meal is guaranteed only to those who refuse to sleep when their stomachs are empty and their eyes are fixed on the prize. The lion never explains its hunt, it simply hunts. While sheep bleat excuses and hyenas laugh from the sidelines, the lion moves in silence. It doesn't justify its hunger. It doesn't apologize for its ambition. It doesn't seek approval before claiming what's rightfully its. This is the unshakable confidence you must cultivate. When you truly want something, you don't owe the world an explanation for your hustle. The moment you start defending your dreams to people who don't understand them, you've already lost. The lion doesn't call a committee meeting before chasing down its meal. It doesn't poll the herd about whether it should eat today. It trusts its instincts and acts without hesitation. Too many people waste precious energy explaining why they're pursuing their goals. To doubtful friends, to skeptical family, to their own insecurities. This is weakness disguised as consideration. The truth is brutal. No one who ever changed the world stopped to ask permission first. They saw what they wanted, calculated the risk, and moved. No press releases, no approval ratings, just decisive action. The hunt doesn't require commentary. Success doesn't need a disclaimer. When you know your worth, you don't negotiate it with people who can't recognize it. The lion doesn't lower its standards to make the gazelle more comfortable. It understands the natural order. You either accept this reality or remain trapped in endless justification cycles, watering down your ambitions to fit other people's limited imaginations. The hunt is sacred. The prey is secondary. The only opinion that matters is the one that drives you forward when everyone else has gone to sleep. Excuses are for prey animals. Explanations are for those who need validation. The lion writes its story in action, not words. Every second spent explaining yourself is a second stolen from your destiny. The jungle doesn't reward those who talk the loudest. It rewards those who move when others pause to question. Your hunger is your business. Your hunt is your legacy. Let the results speak for themselves. The lion fears no territory. It walks into any jungle, any savanna, any uncharted land, and declares dominance by its mere presence. It doesn't shrink from new terrain or unfamiliar challenges. It doesn't hesitate at borders or boundaries. Wherever it steps, that ground becomes its kingdom. This is the mindset of true power. The understanding that territory isn't given, it's claimed. Most people live like caged animals, limiting themselves to familiar spaces, afraid to venture beyond the invisible fences of their comfort zones. But the lion, it recognizes no such limitations. The moment it sets foot in new territory, its shoulders back, head high, it owns that space. Not through permission, but through pure, unshakable belief in its right to be there. You must adopt this same fearlessness. The world's most valuable opportunities exist just beyond those artificial barriers of doubt you've built for yourself. The corporate jungle, the entrepreneurial wilderness, the uncharted domains of innovation. These are not places to approach with hesitation. They're spaces to conquer through sheer force of will. The lion doesn't waste time wondering if it belongs in new territory. It knows belonging isn't granted, it's demonstrated. Every time you've held yourself back from applying for that position, launching that idea, or entering that room because you felt it wasn't your space, you've committed the ultimate sin against your potential. The truth? No territory truly belongs to anyone until someone has the courage to claim it. The digital landscape, the boardroom, the global marketplace, these are all jungles waiting for lions. History remembers those who dared to walk where others said they didn't belong. The difference between those who change industries and those who remain trapped in them isn't skill. It's the willingness to enter uncharted territory without apology. The lion's secret isn't strength. It's the refusal to recognize artificial limitations. While others worry about overstepping, the lion worries only about underperforming. While others ask, am I allowed here? The lion asks, who's going to stop me? This is how empires are built. Not by waiting for invitations, but by treating every space as if you were born to dominate it. The territory doesn't make the lion makes your next level exists just beyond that imaginary line you've been afraid to cross. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is whether you'll finally start walking like the ground beneath you was always yours to claim. The lion pays no attention to the opinions of sheep. It moves through the grasslands with silent purpose, utterly indifferent to the nervous bleating of creatures who spend their lives in frightened herds. The sheep's entire existence revolves around seeking approval, moving only when the flock moves, thinking only what the herd deems acceptable. But the lion, it knows a fundamental truth. You'll never hear game-changing advice from prey animals. The moment you start filtering your ambitions through the limited perspectives of people who've never hunted, never risked, never tasted victory, that's when you surrender your power. The sheep will always tell you why it can't be done. They'll mock your hunger while secretly envying your courage. They'll warn you about dangers they've never faced and criticize paths they've never walked. This is their nature, to huddle together in comfortable mediocrity, validating each other's fears while the lions eat like kings. The most valuable skill you can develop is the ability to distinguish between advice worth taking and noise worth ignoring. The sheep's opinion on hunting tactics is irrelevant. It has never hunted. The herd's assessment of risk is meaningless. It has never left the safety of numbers. When you truly commit to your path, you'll inevitably face resistance from those too afraid to walk their own. They'll call you reckless for moving while they stand still. They'll label you arrogant for believing in yourself while they wait for permission. This isn't just noise. It's a test. Every great innovator, every industry disruptor, every legendary performer faced this moment when they had to choose between the approval of the crowd and the call of their potential. The lion doesn't waste energy arguing with sheep about the merits of hunting. It simply hunts. It doesn't seek validation for its instincts. It trusts them. It doesn't apologize for its nature. It embodies it completely. There's a reason sheep live in constant anxiety while lions sleep soundly. One follows, the other leads. One worries about fitting in, the other concerns itself only with surviving and thriving. When you truly grasp this distinction, you'll stop looking sideways at what others think and start looking ahead at what you're meant to become. The sheep's greatest fear is being different. The lion's greatest strength is being itself. The world will always have more sheep than lions, more followers than leaders, more critics than creators. But history isn't written by committees. It's written by those rare few who dare to ignore the naysayers and trust their own roar. Your dreams weren't given to you to be approved by a vote. They were planted in you to be pursued with or without permission. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who can't understand you is the moment you truly begin to grow into your power. The lion doesn't moderate its roar to make the sheep more comfortable. The lion never waits for backup when hunger strikes. It sinks its teeth into the challenge alone if necessary, understanding that true strength is measured by what you can carry by yourself when no one else shows up. While hyenas hunt in cackling packs and wolves move in whining groups, the lion knows solitude is sometimes the price. There comes a moment in every important journey when the crowds fade, the cheerleaders go home, and you're left standing in the arena with nothing but your own two hands and the fire in your gut. This is where legends are made. Most people crumble when forced to stand alone, terrified by the silence where their excuses used to echo. But the lion, it thrives in this space. It needs no audience for its courage, no witnesses to its struggle, no applause for its victories. The ability to fight your battles alone isn't loneliness, it's mastery. When the pack abandons you, when mentors disappear, when friends doubt you, that's not abandonment, that's initiation. The universe is testing whether you really want what you say you want, whether your hunger is strong enough to sustain you through the solitary march toward mastery. Every significant thing ever accomplished had moments where the creator stood utterly alone, no support, no reassurance, just raw willpower against the world's resistance. The lion doesn't complain about unfairness when it has to hunt solo. It hunts harder. It doesn't beg for help. It develops sharper claws. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It creates them through sheer force of determination. There's an undeniable power that comes from knowing you can depend entirely on yourself, not as a last resort, but as your first and strongest instinct. The weak need constant validation. The mediocre require hand-holding. But the lion-hearted understand that some battles must be fought in terrifying isolation to forge the unshakable confidence that separates kings from followers. When you find yourself standing alone against a storm, Don't mistake it for failure. Recognize it as your training ground. The most important version of yourself will be born in these solitary struggles, where no one is watching and no one is coming to save you. That's where you'll discover what you're truly made of. Not when the crowd is cheering, but when the arena is empty and victory is yours alone to claim. The lion knows what most never learn. Being alone never made anyone weak. Depending on others does. When you can stare down your greatest challenges without looking sideways for support, that's when you become dangerous. That's when you stop being a participant in life and start being a force of nature. The ability to stand alone is the ultimate advantage. Because once you've conquered yourself, the world has no choice but to follow. The lion carries both power and grace in equal measure. It understands that true strength lies in knowing when to show mercy and when to bare its teeth. There is a dangerous misconception in the jungle that kindness equals vulnerability, that compassion means you're soft. The lion shatters this illusion daily. It can groom its cubs with gentle precision in one moment and tear out a challenger's throat in the next. This is the balance you must master. The ability to be warm without being weak, to be generous without being gullible. Most people swing between two extremes, either becoming doormats who let the world walk over them or turning into heartless predators who trust no one. The lion teaches us there is a third path, the razor's edge between compassion and consequences. You can open your circle without dropping your guard. You can give second chances without forgetting first offenses. The lion's kindness is never accidental. It's always a choice, never a compromise. When it shares its kill with the pride, it's not because it can't defend its meal. It's because it chooses to. When it walks away from a fight with a lesser opponent, it's not because it's afraid. It's because the battle isn't worth its energy. This is strategic generosity, the kind that comes from abundance rather than desperation. The weak mistake silence for submission. They push until they discover the hard way that the lion was never tolerating their behavior, just deciding whether it was worth responding to. There's immense power in selective kindness. When people realize your warmth is voluntary rather than obligatory, your compassion becomes priceless rather than expected. The lion doesn't waste energy proving its strength to every creature in the savannah. It knows its capabilities, and that's enough. Similarly, you don't need to respond to every slight to validate your power. Real strength is secure enough to ignore petty challenges. But make no mistake, when boundaries are crossed, when respect is violated, the transition from patience to action is instantaneous and irreversible. This is the hallmark of true power. The ability to be approachable without being vulnerable. To be understanding without being naive. The lion's greatest lesson isn't about dominance. It's about discernment. Knowing exactly when to lick wounds and when to inflict them. When to share your kill and when to defend it to the death. Your kindness should be your choice, never your obligation. A gift you consciously give, never a weakness others exploit. That's the difference between being good-natured and being taken advantage of. One is a strategy, the other is surrender. The world will test your boundaries constantly, not because people are cruel, but because nature progresses every creature to seek the path of least resistance. Your job isn't to be liked by everyone, it's to be respected by all and cherished by those worthy of your circle. The lion sleeps with both eyes open, not because it's paranoid, but because it understands a fundamental truth. Kindness and weakness may look similar from a distance, but up close, the difference is life and death. The lion wears its scars not as shame, but as armor. Each mark telling a story of battles survived, of lessons learned the hard way, of a will that refused to break even when the flesh did. While weaker creatures hide their wounds in embarrassment, the lion displays them with quiet pride, knowing these are not signs of defeat, but medals of endurance. Every claw mark across its muzzle speaks of confrontations faced and overcome. Every limp in its step reminds of hunts that nearly cost everything but didn't. The jungle doesn't give participation trophies. It gives scars to those strong enough to earn them. Most people try to erase their struggles, to cover their failures, to pretend they've always been this strong. The lion knows better. Its scars are living proof that it's been tested and found worthy. That first failed hunt that left it starving for days became the education that made it a better predator. That territorial dispute that left it bleeding became the wisdom that taught it which battles to pick. There's an undeniable power that comes from having survived your own mistakes. Not unscathed, but undefeated. The young lion may have smooth skin and perfect fur, but the seasoned veteran with the notched ear and cloudy eye commands respect without needing to roar. Your setbacks aren't evidence of weakness. They're the curriculum of your strength. That business that failed, that relationship that ended, that betrayal that cut deep, these aren't embarrassments to hide. They're experience points that leveled you up. The lion doesn't waste energy regretting its scars. It uses them. The memory of past pain makes its next attack sharper. The recollection of previous defeats makes its current strategy wiser. While others break under pressure they've never faced before, the scarred lion remains calm. It's been here before and knows exactly what it can survive. There's an unshakable confidence that only comes from having been broken and rebuilt yourself stronger. The world fears those who stared into the abyss and didn't blink, not because they're cruel, but because they're certain. Your scars are your advantage. They've taught you what no easy victory ever could. They've given you the one thing no untested competitor possesses, proof that you can take a hit and keep moving forward. The lion with the most scars isn't the weakest, it's the most dangerous, because it's fought enough battles to know exactly what it takes to win the war. Every mark represents a lesson burned into flesh and bone, a reminder that nothing in the jungle comes easy, but nothing worth having ever does. The unscarred lion may look impressive, but the one covered in healed wounds is the one who actually knows how to survive when the rains don't come and the herds grow thin. Your struggles aren't your shame. They're your credentials. They're what separates you from those who've never been tested, who fold at the first sign of real pressure. When the next challenge comes, and it always does, you won't panic like those experiencing hardship for the first time. You'll dig in like the veteran you are, scars and all, because you've been here before and know exactly how much you can endure. That's the power of the scarred. Not that they're unbreakable, but that they've been broken before and know the way back to strength. The lion doesn't beg for respect. It commands it by the sheer force of its presence, moving through its domain with the unshakable certainty of a king who knows his throne is earned, not given. While other animals scramble for acceptance, the lion understands a fundamental truth. True power isn't about forcing others to follow. It's about cultivating such undeniable strength and purpose that followers emerge naturally. The pride isn't just a group the lion leads. It's an extension of its very being, a manifestation of its ability to create order from chaos. This is the difference between those who chase authority and those who attract it effortlessly. The lion's pride reflects its inner state, confident cubs mirroring their leader's fearlessness. Fierce lionesses hunting with precision because they've been empowered, not controlled. Most people misunderstand leadership completely. They think it's about titles or loud demands, when in reality it's about becoming the kind of presence others instinctively want to orbit. The lion doesn't micromanage its pride. It sets the standard through action, then watches as the entire group rises to meet it. Your pride might be your business, your family, your team, whatever circle you influence, and the quality of that circle will always mirror the quality of your character. Weak leaders create dependency. True leaders create more leaders. The lion doesn't fear when its cubs grow stronger. It knows their strength only makes the entire pride more formidable. This is the mark of real confidence, the ability to elevate others without feeling threatened. When you truly own your space, not through arrogance, but through quiet, demonstrated competence, you'll find people naturally aligning with your vision. The lion's roar isn't just a sound. It's a territorial claim that echoes across the savannah, a reminder to all who hear it that this is claimed ground. Your equivalent isn't shouting. It's the silent authority that comes when your actions consistently match your words, when your decisions prove your wisdom, when your presence alone shifts the energy of any room you enter. The pride follows the lion not out of fear, but because where he goes, survival becomes easier, victories become frequent, and life becomes more abundant. This is the ultimate test of leadership, not what you can take from others, but what you can create for them. The lion that fails this test finds itself alone, roaring at the wind. The one that masters it becomes legend, its influence extending far beyond its physical reach. When you truly own your pride, when your existence makes others stronger just by association, that's when you've tapped into the highest level of the lion mentality. The ground doesn't shake when a lone lion walks by, but when the entire pride moves as one, unified by a leader worth following, even the earth takes notice. That's the power you're building, not just to lead, but to elevate everything you touch. The lion's greatest legacy isn't the kills it makes alone, but the hunts its entire pride wins together. Long after its teeth have gone dull and its mane has turned gray, its lessons continue feeding generations. That's true ownership. When your influence outlasts your physical form, when your teachings become the pride's instincts, when your roar echoes in the hearts of those you've led long after your final breath. The mark of a real king isn't what he takes, it's what he leaves behind.